the meeting, you just rejoin. You just rejoin. As Shreyas has left, someone please tell Shreyas to rejoin the meeting. So हाँ कहाँ थे हम लोग? Algorithm is the very crucial step where you are defining the way or a procedure that will give you a proper solution. Okay, so next is another step regarding algorithm. Now test the algorithm on the test data. Before coding, you input some test data manually to the algorithm, see how it is getting processed, and verify whether you are getting the correct output or not. So that this is also equally important. Once your algorithm is perfect, there is no hitch in converting that algorithm into a program. It will be very easy task. So testing algorithm for correctness is important. I have specially mentioned here that this is a critical step, but one that programmers often forget. Generally, algorithm भी लिखते हैं लेकिन उसको टेस्ट नहीं करते. So that is important if you are writing a program. And then this tested algorithm will be simply converted into a program in any with any programming language, and that is definitely going to work. That is definitely going to work if you have tested it for correctness, algorithm for correctness. There will be no bugs, no errors in the program. Okay, so convert that algorithm into a program. And now next, most importantly, is document the program clearly. Describe each line of instruction or at least some important portions of the program using comments. जो comments हम लोग लिखते हैं, why we are writing those comments? Those comments are very important because if that program is referred later or by someone else, he'll be able to understand what for you are doing this or using this construct or this statement or this loop or this logic. Okay, so not every line should be having a comment, but at least the important logic, the important loop, you can write down. For this purpose, the loop is being written, or this is the need of declaring the variables, or this is the processing which the data which we are performing on data to get the intended output. Those comments should be written. Okay, so that is important. So documentation of that program is really important, and that will make the program easy to follow when accessed later or for corrections or changes. Till now you must have written a very small code of 10-15 lines, but you are going to deal with thousands of lines of a code. So that time these comments will be really important for you. Then simply run the program, execute it with different inputs, and try to get the output. And if the program is not uh, executing properly, those are called as bugs in the terminology which is used in computer world. If the bugs are there, then you debug the program, just find out those errors, fix them so that the debugged program will be executed properly. So debugging is another important step. Uh, in several companies, you have separate teams for debugging. They put on a lot of test data on that program, different cases of data in that program, and try to see whether that program is executing in all possible with all possible data or not. So that's there. So we are making sure that the debugging is also happening. So these are the steps. Just to repeat once: define the problem properly, outline its solution in brief, then write the complete procedure, that is algorithm, that will lead to your solution. Test that algorithm for the correctness with different test data, and then convert that program into uh, algorithm into a code, and later document it properly. Run and debug the program. So these are the important steps. I hope you have understood. So anything is not clear uh, in this discussion, or nothing is clear, or everything is clear, or you were not listening to it, just prompt if you have any doubts. At least prompt if it is clear to you. So what is self-documenting? Self-documenting means that's what I am telling you, the writing the comments while writing the code. Means if you are applying some logic or say some loop for a particular purpose, then it may happen that in a huge long program you may use number of loops. So you just mention with that loop that in a comment statement that this loop is constructed for this particular purpose. So whenever you'll come back to that code or you will debug that code or review your code, you'll be recalling what all is done. That is called as self-documentation. So only three people have responded. Rest, either it is very clear or it is not at all clear, or they are clear from this meeting. They have just signed in the meeting and moved. It seems so. Okay, fine. That's good. At least now I can understand that you people are all awake. Good. Good. So this is and we'll go for the further discussion now. There are programming strategies like see, when you perform any task, not even program, you are asked with any task. Say you are asked to your parents asked you to get and go and get 4 or 5 different things from a market. Okay, um, and say you first you need to go uh, to some sabzi market, then you need to go to the hardware market, and then you need to go to a cloth market, which are at distant thing. Then what better you will do is you'll ask help from your brother or friend or someone else that if you are staying there or if you are going that side, you better get that thing for me so that I can hand it over. And you'll make sure that everything is received, maybe by you or someone else, and you'll put all them together and hand it over to your parents that okay, I have got all these things. So this is what you are doing is so you are making a strategy to work out with the solution or to get that solution, approach that solution. Okay, like or other example is if a car is getting manufactured by a company, you are getting a Maruti car or you are getting a Tata car or you are getting a Hyundai car or a Jaguar or a Audi. You are getting all those cars with their logos, and you are saying that it's a uh, Tata's car or it is Maruti's car. But all these cars are not completely manufactured at that plant. This Maruti and Tata buying the engines from Ford, right? So they'll get the engines from one company, they'll get the tires from one company, they'll get the audio set from another company, they'll make the frame by themselves, they make the body by themselves, they'll get the seats and other things from some other company. So when they have seen a car as a bigger picture, they wanted all those parts into it. But when they tried to solve it, it was difficult for them to put one unit for every part. So what they did, they hired the services from other people. They got the things there. They assembled it together as a running car. Okay. So what you can understand from this is the strategy for solving a problem is breaking down the task into smaller parts and solving them individually, and they can be assembled together. So this is what the strategy most of the people are following. But they are properly defined into two sections or two strategies. One is called as bottom up approach and another is called as top down approach. Bottom up says that uh, they they provide the solution individually, they work on the solution individually on smaller tasks, and then they come together to put the solutions together, assemble them and complete the uh, job as a whole. Okay, like what example I can give is any of the society being constructed, everyone is going to perform their own task, and finally it will be put as a presented as a entire life society or township. So everyone perform their smaller task and put the solutions together is called as bottom up approach. The lower action is performed first. Whereas top down approach is the example which I given for given about the car. They have seen the solution as whole, they have seen the problem as whole, provide the solution as whole, and then divide it into smaller tasks and given the task to different people. They manufactured it, they implemented and got it together. So similar strategies are used in programming. Sometimes we analyze the solution as whole and then divide it into smaller tasks and hand it over to different people to provide the solution for that task only. And other is bottom up, where uh, different modules are built and then they are put in a single umbrella to give a bigger solution. This one is happening like Google Meet. Right now we are using Google Meet was launched, but now they are providing different extensions which are from a third party people. Okay, they are providing a certain extension for taking the assembly, taking having the gallery view, and providing the assignments. Different extensions are being provided by different people. They have worked individually and now collaborating with Google to make the system as a whole. So these are the programming strategies, two programming strategies, bottom up and top down. This is important. This is important. What are the programming paradigms? There are two types of paradigms, imperative and declarative. Imperative means whatever we are learning right now. Means we are deciding with one task and trying to perform it. Okay, a task is defined and we are performing it. Like a program is written for C or C++ or any other language. That is called as imperative programming. Okay. A task is decided and we program for that. Whereas declarative programming is more logical. It changes from user to user. Imperative means it is that program is defined and every user can use it for his purpose. Whereas declarative is not that one. Declarative is little logic driven, and the user, the customer will tell that I want it in this way. Let us say that the databases, we are using uh, ticket reservation system, you are booking your show tickets, you are ordering from Swiggy or Zomato, you can uh, do all the things at your fingertips at your home. But when Swiggy was, all these are using databases. So Swiggy had different logic of accessing it. Ola has different logic of accessing it. So that entire program is purposefully designed for that organization or that particular user. So that entire logic is defined for it. The functionalities is defined for it. Databases are defined for it. That is called as declarative programming. Whereas imperative programming is simple, write a program and give it to all so they can use it in common. So that is a procedure. And among these, we are going to learn about only imperative procedure oriented programming, procedural programming. Okay. So the C language, what we are going to learn is a procedural programming. Now, I want to ask you a question. Why C is called as procedure oriented programming? My question is, why C is called as procedure oriented programming? You can put your mic on and answer, or you can answer in the chat box. It gives more importance to the sequence, Rohan says. Any other answers? Why C is called as a procedure oriented programming or procedural approach of programming? Others also try to answer it, may be absolutely wrong, but there is no harm in answering. You can put your audio on and answer, or you can answer through the chat window. Why? As it follows a procedure. As it follows a procedure. I don't agree with this answer. It depends on procedure like routines. To some extent, it is correct. It gives much response, much importance is given to the flow of program rather than on data, or because while implementing or running program, it goes stepwise. It gives importance to the flow of program, gives instruction to computer step by step. It has top-down approach. It follows top-down procedure or approach. It uses a set of instruction to inform any process. Maybe any programming language is going to do the same thing. It is going to use the set of instruction to inform computer what to do, step by step. That's what the program is. Okay, you good. You have tried, but to some extent the things has to be very clear. Uh, the C is called as a procedure-oriented programming because programming language because it takes help of procedures to write a code. Procedures means the functions. It generally divides the task into smaller functions and let every function operate on the data separately and produce its own output, which can be used by another function for further processing. Okay. C must have one function at least in the program, and if it is having only one function, it will be main function. But apart from main, it can have more number of functions in the program, and those functions will be very independent and communicating with the other functions. So these functions will take the data, process it, and produce some output. With that output will be given to some other function. So these functions are called as procedures, and hence C is called as procedure-oriented programming. Okay, and I got one answer as I'll just get through that. One answer was good. It gives more importance to sequence, one said, or importance to the who said that Rohan said, or Chinsi said it as it follows a procedure. Now Shreyas also said that it give much importance is given to the flow of program rather than the data, or it goes stepwise. So for that I have another concept. This C is also called as structured programming. You don't get confused in two things. Procedure-oriented programming means it divides the task into smaller procedures and data is passed from one procedure to another. C is a structured programming language. That means it follow a specified structure. So is C++ and Java also. Uh, they follow a particular structure. Thus, you cannot define a function after using it, or you need to have main, you need to include files. First you need to write include, and you need to declare all the variables in the beginning, whatever number of variables you are using throughout the program, you need to declare in the beginning. That is a particular structure defined for um, C. That is why it is called as structured programming. And as a programming approach, it uses procedures for handling the task. Hence, it is called as a procedure-oriented programming. So these are the two things you need to clearly differentiate and understand also. So these are the two things. And out of these programming paradigms, in this semester, we are going to concentrate only on imperative kind of programming, which is procedure-oriented programming, Okay, procedural programming. As you can see in the presentation, object-oriented, parallel processing, or database, all you are going to learn after a few days, or maybe in the coming semesters or coming years. So right now we are just concentrating on procedure programming. Now we'll wind up our discussion by just briefing out how to define and analyze the problem. See, before writing a program, we have to define a problem. That means we have to define exactly what will be the input and what will be the output of program. That is, the data which we need to provide to the program is your input, and the information which we want the program to produce is the output. Okay. So these two things must be very clear. Once these two things are clear, we can figure out uh, very easily how to develop a solution for this. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you. So first of all, we need to decide with the input and output. Then there comes two phases of programming. One is problem solving and implementation. I neglect implementation because it is, as I said you earlier, if algorithm is well tested, then there is 100% guarantee that your program is going to get work. So implementation is just conversion of algorithm into a program, and it is going to work. But problem solving is more important, where we are writing the algorithm and testing it for its correctness. So produce an ordered sequence of steps that describe the solution of a problem, which is called as algorithm. Okay. So these two phases you keep in mind, and this problem solving phase is the most important thing in that. So these generally these steps are: first you write a algorithm and then successively write the detailed algorithm in pseudocode and uh, convert it into a. So while writing the algorithm, I will say that you write it in any language. Later you convert it into some detailed algorithm or a pseudocode which will be very close to a computer language and will be understandable by us also. That means insert some arithmetic statements or some looping statements into it so that you'll be getting the best out of it. So this is about problem solving. So problem solving is the main task in programming. Writing an algorithm is the main part in programming. Now onwards, whenever you write a code, first write an algorithm. First write the clear-cut set of instructions in any native language, which will be easy for us to convert into a program. Okay, so these are the basics for programming, or these are the uh, strategies for programming, or these are the things which we should know before writing a program. So in the next lecture, we'll see how a flowchart can be drawn. So as algorithm gives you a set of instructions which can be converted to a program, flowchart gives you how that program is going to get executed, or rather how the control will flow from one point to another. Because we are using logical function: if true then this, if false then this. For I to I0 to I10, just go on looping, so that control is get entering into a loop, then it is coming out. So how that control of the program is getting executed, that we are going to see in the next lecture. That is the flowchart. So this was about the programming basics. You please prompt if it is clear or not, or if any doubt are there, anything to be repeated out of this. Can I say that it is clear to you? Yeah. If you are prompting, good. So I'm happy that you all are listening and it is clear to you. I again request you to just join that website and go through the assignment first and try to solve your assignment by yourself. It is, see, don't worry about the marks, just worry about gaining the knowledge. If you are not understanding, not able to write that program, जितने आते हैं उतने 8 प्रोग्राम्स उसमें है, जिसमें 5-5 मार्क के 6 और 10 मार्क के 2 है. जो लेटर टास्क है वो थोड़ा बड़ा टास्क है, इसलिए दैट कैरीज 10 मार्क्स. लेकिन 10 में से या 8 में से जितने प्रॉब्लम्स आपको आते हैं, जितने प्रोग्राम्स आप लिख पाते हो, उतने करने की कोशिश करो और उसको कोड करो. यू विल रियली एंजॉय once you get the output. Okay, so don't be honest and write it by your own, the way you can do it. तुम्हें जैसा आता है वैसा आने दो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. Please don't use the. Raghavan is saying that, sir, can we use different language? Which language you want to opt for? No, please don't do it right now, because in this subject we are little bind with first thing the C language. And second thing, Python it may be a current trend, but Python is basically Python is basically a scripting language, is not a programming language. So you'll come to know about the difference between a scripting language and this one. So try out in C. That is very simple. The programs are very simple. You please try out in C. Okay. So with this, I expect the things are clear, and see you in the next lecture, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. So we'll meet then. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
If people can leave the meeting, I'll take the backup of attendance and all. Thank you. Thank you.
एसेंशियल फीचर है जो बहुत जरूरी है